Hello everyone, I want to do a quick introduction to this project that I'm going to take on for my 1968 Pontiac Firebird. First introducing what I got. So this is a 1970 Pontiac 350 block with a mild cam, 9:1 compression ratio, get about vacuum pressure vacuum reading about 13 when it's in drive, 16 when it's in park, so it's got a mild cam. I've had a Street Demon 625 carb in this car for about 10 years at this point. I think as far as street carbs are concerned, I'll definitely vouch for this. I'm very happy with it. It's a good replacement for a Quadrajet. I've done everything that I can to tune this carb. I've invested in their metering rod kits and jets and power springs. I've done it all with the aid of an AFR gauge and a vacuum gauge as well. And I think if you have a car like this and you're driving it daily or frequently, a carb like this is great. Cold starts are going to be all right. Hot starts are going to be okay too. The electric choke does its job properly to help you with doing your cold starts and hot starts. It gives you decent part throttle response. It gives you a good wide open throttle response. But at the end of the day, it's a carb. It's going to have shortcomings against EFIs. For me, after tinkering with this carb for all these years, my motivations for switching over from a carb to an EFI system are that I don't drive this car on a daily basis. I drive it on the weekends, and I drive it sparingly. And cold starts can be a pain. Drive it around, take it out for a day, you bring it back home, park it in the garage. Your garage is going to smell like gas for almost about a week. Your clothes are going to smell too. And that reliability is not that trustworthy. So I had some extra money to spend. Wanted to step up and give it a shot with going with EFI. I was contemplating between doing MSD's Atomic EFI 2 and Holley's Sniper EFI systems. And in doing my research, I found out that Holley does a Sniper EFI that's based off of a Quadrajet, which is what I ended up choosing. Now, my engine is a street boulevard bruiser. It's not a racer. This is rated up to 500 horsepower, and this EFI is more than enough for my application. I chose to get it in black because it matches the color of my cylinder heads. And I'll tell you why I chose this and not the regular Sniper EFI. Two reasons. Number one, I read a lot of complaints about people talking about how the throttle response is very jerky on the Holley Sniper EFIs. And the thing about this version is that it's the only Sniper EFI that has a progressive linkage. In other words, the primaries open before the secondaries. On the regular Sniper EFIs and even MSD's Atomic EFI, all four of these butterfly valves open up at the same time. This one, however, it's progressive. And I like that. The reason why I like that is because it makes the throttle response not jerky. It makes it feel like how a carburetor feels. And this is kind of cool because you're going to be using the primary bores more often than not, and when you really lean into it, the secondaries are going to open and you're going to hear that classic Quadrajet roar. And this is rated at 715 CFM. It's more than enough for what I needed for. So I ended up choosing this. I ended up choosing the in-tank fuel pump that Holley sells. This is going to go, the fuel pump's going to basically be residing in the fuel tank. The sending unit's going to hook up to my stock gas gauge with no problems. And the really neat thing about using the in-tank fuel pump, besides the fuel pump being quieter due to the fact that it's in the tank, I don't need to run a return line. This is going to be a returnless system due to the fact that the fuel pump is going to be in the tank. So the hoses and accessories that come with the fuel pump, that's from Holley. Got to install the O2 sensor, which is not going to be a big deal for me because I already have an O2 sensor installed for my AFR gauge. So I just have to take that O2 sensor out and install this instead and run the wiring. Coolant sensor, the harnesses supplied by Holley, and then I got this from Jegs, which is basically a block off plate for the mechanical fuel pump. That's it. Quick intro. I'm going to see how this goes. First thing I'm going to do is drop the fuel tank and install the pump, and then I'm going to move on into the engine bay and do the work that is needed for the EFI system.